Am I recording? Yes. Okay. Hi. I want to apologize first for the crappy quality of this video. I've been playing around all morning with the two different laptops that we have, and both have lousy cameras and are being super awful. So I'm sorry if this video is a little bit blurry. I disappeared yet again. That will be my new thing. Basically, in the last month, and I think it's been a month since I did a video, I got really sick for 2 weeks. I thought maybe it was strep, so I was on antibiotics. Maybe it wasn't strep. I was just sleeping all the time and really, really tired and feeling lousy. So it wasn't really doing much. But also the 2 weeks before that, I, had just totally abandoned like my Healthy Bride project. And so I weigh, I think, exactly what I weighed a month ago, which in some ways is really great, because kind of I seem to be maintaining about, between 170 and 175, no matter what I'm doing. I mean, I'm not sustaining like a weight loss effort right now. Do you know what I mean? I'm sure if I was like counting my calories again or blah, 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 I would be losing weight. But I am not doing that. So here's the thing, and this is like what I feel like I'm really struggling with. It is super, super, super easy for me to eat anything I want, in terms of like sugar and stuff like that. And if I'm eating all day, I can also eat a ton of food. So this is, I think, the hard part is like I get into this negative headspace. I have like a week or 2 weeks of like different levels of crappy eating. I don't want to make any videos about it because I feel really bad about myself and I feel lousy, and it's just like this shame spiral, which feels a lot like, pre-weight loss surgery. Like pre-weight loss surgery, I would be like hardcore for a few days or a few weeks, and then I would, not, and I would feel like no matter what I was doing, I couldn't get out of this like diet and binge cycle. And the weird thing is that I was gaining weight, but pretty much for 2 years or something I was high 280s, 290s. And despite all the dieting, despite all the binging, overall it was kind of like averaging out, and I feel a little bit like a much, much, much smaller extent. It's what it's easy for me to get into now again. A few days of like eating cookies or grazing all day, and then, 2 weeks of like going to yoga every day, and, I'm going to eat really healthy, and it's like not a happy place. I mean, I feel good the weeks that I'm eating super healthy and, dieting, and then I feel really shitty the weeks, or the days that I'm just like eating really crappy. In the moment, I'm in a good place. So it's easy for me to make a video about it and say it's all going to be okay. But, it is something that I feel like I wish I could talk more about. And then I remembered that the reason that I started making the videos, the community is this like amazing, amazing added benefit. But the real reason I started making the videos was for myself and to do it as a journal, and that I need to kind of come back to it even when I'm like, oh, I feel awful. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. So the other thing that happened, and oh my God, it's been so long. It's like a million things, and I'm planning the wedding and blah, blah, blah. But the other thing is that I read this really interesting article in the New York Times, and the article was talking about the study that they did with mice, where they fed them white sugar, and basically when they put the mice on a white sugar diet, the mice would pursue obesity with a passion, was the phrase that they used. And even if they were offered, when they were offered a healthy food versus no food, they would actually go on hunger strikes, the mice, waiting for more white sugar. And I was starting to think about this because I didn't have a super sweet tooth before the surgery, or maybe I felt like I didn't think at the time that I had a sweet tooth because, oh, what's eating 2 cookies every day when like you're also eating, you know what I mean, like 3 pounds of fried rice. So proportionally it felt different. Now on days when I'm eating 3 desserts, which can sometimes happen, or, if I've kind of broken through the I don't eat pastries rule, it just like escalates to the point where really I'm having 3 desserts some days, and it's just like out of control. And I read this article and I was like, I am that mouse. Like, I am that mouse who is having, you know what I mean, like a, muffin for breakfast. I mean, these are my terrible days, right? I'd have a muffin for breakfast, or I'd have a bagel, which is basically, refined white carbs, or like the same BS. I'd want to have, whatever. I'd have a cookie, or I'd have a Reese's peanut butter cup after lunch, and at night I was having like sorbet. And it's not, I mean, the real thing is adding up all the calories, it's probably not even an insane amount of calories, because food-wise I'm not able to eat as much as I was able to eat before. But just mentally feeling like so addicted. Do you know what I mean? Like that little mouse pressing the button for the next sugar pellet is like insane. So the last few days I've been thinking a lot about what do I want what do I want to be in terms of mentally? Do you know what I mean? Like would I be happy 5 years from now if I weighed 174 pounds? I think I would. I mean, I think I'd be much happier if I weighed 150 pounds, or if I weighed 160 pounds. But if I weigh 174 pounds 5 years from now, I really want to get to a place where mentally I don't feel like I'm a failure. And a huge part of that actually is I don't want to be in this like shame spiral. I don't want to be dieting for 2 weeks and then binging, and binging for me is like grazing all day on sugar and carbs. And, some days I was looking at my diet and it's like, okay, well, I had 2,000 calories, but I had like no protein that day, because I mean, any day that I'm starting my day with like half a bagel, and I can't even eat the whole bagel. Do you know what I mean? Like half a bagel and cream cheese is just like waste, 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 waste in my stomach, and it's not giving me anything, and just whatever. So I was like, okay, well, the real thing is 5 years from now, I want to feel like I'm eating not as part of a shame spiral. I want to feel like, I'm eating real food, which means not, to me, like artificial, sugar-free Reese's peanut butter cups. Like, I don't need that in my diet any more than I need regular Reese's peanut butter cups, any more than I need bagels. Do you know what I mean? It's all part of the same, like, sugar, refined white carbs, like, totally nutritionally void food. So yesterday I was like, okay, why don't I just try to do one day of eating real food? Like, not everything sugar-free vanilla, you know what I mean? Like sugar-free vanilla iced coffees all day, and Splenda all day, and, as much sugar as I can get my hands on, or like bagels or whatever. And I was like, don't care about, oh my God, avocado has more calories in it. Don't care about like the calories basically, but just trying to eat real food. And so yesterday I had like this beautiful salad with spinach and chickpeas and like blue cheese and cranberries, and it was so insanely good. And I felt so much better than when I've been eating my like crappy, crappy, crappy lunches. And for dinner, I had a stuffed bell pepper with quinoa, which has protein in it, and feta cheese, and it was so insanely good. And I felt so much better than when I have been having like my frozen pizzas or whatever. And I was like, just one day of not dieting, but not letting myself just be in this like crazy sugar spiral either. I felt like the best I felt in the last month. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like that's my focus right now, is like just trying to eat real foods. Like, I don't want to be, I mean, it's hard. I know everyone has their own thing for eating, and some people are doing Atkins, and some people are doing, sugar-free till their eyes bulge out. But like, I don't want to be eating a hard-boiled egg and a cheese stick for lunch. To me, like, food is beautiful and magical and fun and really exciting. It can be really culturally interesting, and, I'm totally a foodie. But I don't want to be eating like Reese's peanut butter cups either. You know what I mean? Like, it's this weird balance. My friend's a teacher in high school, and she was talking about this kid who came in for breakfast and was just eating a tub of Duncan Hines frosting for breakfast. And I was like aghast at that. Do you know what I mean? And then I was like, well, how is it really any different? For everything I know about nutrition, how is it really any different than me eating a Reese's peanut butter cup every afternoon? Like, it's kind of not. You know what I mean? I don't know. I feel like it's all about like, I'm just like, oh, I want to be in a place of tranquility with the weight. Like, I want, with the weight, which really is so much about the eating. And maybe getting off of the sugar fix, the sugar bandwagon. Like, and I think Splenda is the same thing. They